The Sci-Horror Film Podcast. Hello and welcome to the Sci-Horror Film Podcast. I am Andy Walker and I am joined once again, as always, by my son Scott. Hello, Scott.
Hello there.
How are you?
I'm sticky and hot. I don't do. England as a country doesn't do well in the heat or the cold, really. But as a bigger man that holds an extra few layers of fat than I should do, I don't do well in heat. I can't stand it.
Yes.
Quite hot in this country.
You paint a lovely picture.
Yeah. It's quite warm now. It's just I'm just struggling a bit. But
yeah, I know what you mean. I have the same problem. The other thing I find is the fact that because my respiratory system doesn't seem to be working brilliantly well at the moment, the heat seems to make the air thicker.
Yeah,
which is kind of weird, but there you go. Maybe maybe it makes the molecules of air expand.
Well, that's not. It makes a lot of other molecules expand, so it wouldn't surprise me. But I had an argument with someone the other day. A bit off topic, but they said to me, "Well, why don't you shave your beard off?" Not because I'm not hot there, when it's everywhere else.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I just thought about that. Maybe air expands in the heat, which is why the air seems thicker in the
Well, it
summer.
would make sense because you think you go higher up in the Earth's atmosphere, the air gets cooler and it's thinner.
Yeah. See, we always had this idea that that time was made up of particles that expanded in the heat, which is why summer days are longer than winter.
Why do I keep freezing?
But I'm not sure that's true. Anyway,
I don't think time works that way, but I'm pretty sure.
Well, no, because you see, the good thing about it is if that was true, and you could bond particles of time with particles of other things, you could make a time machine out of anything.
It would also mean that this is going to get me really complicated. It would also mean that the closer you get to the sun, the longer it takes.
Yeah, the slower you get. Well, you don't know because we haven't been that close to the sun, have we?
No, but I suppose we haven't been that far away. Maybe that's the real reason. If you think about when they showed the video of the moon landing, of the moon landing.
Yeah,
that's the real reason why they were actually doing what they weren't. They weren't floating. It was just taking them that long to jump over.
Slow motion.
Yeah.
I don't know because I don't think the moon's really warm, to be honest. But there you go.
No, but that's what I'm saying. So it would have taken longer because it was colder.
No, because if it's cold, it's shorter.
Oh yeah, I suppose yeah.
Anyway,
yes.
It's not completely off topic with what we've watched this week, but anyway, this week we are looking at 3 science fiction films.
Yes.
Which we haven't done for a while, actually. It's a whole science fiction show.
No, especially again, the feature in this is to do with, I suppose, time travel.
Yeah, sort of.
And it's another one I suggested, which is even worse.
Yeah. Okay, so let's start off with the short films. The first one is from 2021, and it's a film called Regnum. This is by David Melchior. Now, I think this is French originally. I'm not totally sure.
Yes, I think so.
But it's by the Brody's Lab, and I say it's a short film, but it's actually nearly 19 minutes long.
Yeah,
which is quite long for a short film, for us. Um, so there you go. But the synopsis for this film says five astronauts traveling through space end up on a hostile planet. Further,
Oh,
hang on, yeah, it does. It says five astronauts traveling through space end up on a hostile planet, further following their passing through a black hole,
yes.
which isn't great English, but there you
No.
go. That's what it says. So uh, I quite liked this. The set and the spaceship and the effects of the space bits out of space and that sort of thing at the beginning were really good. Um, Now the black hole effects when they actually go into the black hole kind of reminded me of the Doctor Who.
Yeah, it was a mix between Doctor Who and Star Wars.
Yeah, it was a bit weird, but there was some good use of sound effects and that during that time and that sort of thing. And then they land on this planet,
Yeah.
and that was okay when they first land on the planet and they're in the water and that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden it goes a bit 2001 where they find this obelisk.
Yep. That's yeah. It's I don't know. Do you know what? I was fine. I thought to myself this is going to be a bit of a weird film anyway because of the fact that it was the way just where it started. But yeah, I agree with you. The effects and the set design for the rocket and the effects for that in Winter in Space was very good. I did like that. The wormhole effect again, I really liked. Yeah, but it gave me the sound the mix between Doctor Who and Star Wars, sort of the whole way of
Mm.
the game. Um, I would like to know. I want to know what this rocket was built out of because I've seen planes. Not personally, but I know of planes that have hit water and no one survived. But yet that rocket survived pretty much intact, and five of them did as well.
Yeah, well, you know.
But yeah, and I was fine up until that point, actually, I suppose, and then it just sort of went a bit weird.
Well, I don't. I mean, you know, it's a bit slower in places, I think, than it needs to be.
Yeah,
It's a lot of things. But then, because they get the see the obelisk thing and they kind of get zapped by it and that
yeah,
kind of stuff. And then, well, that's never explained really.
nope.
Cool. Um, but then you have this bit where they're sitting around and there's a puddle and you suddenly get the Jurassic Park water ripple bit.
And the Jurassic Park Raw, 'cause I'm
And
pretty sure that is the
Jurassic
one
Park
from the
Raw,
foot.
yeah,
Yeah,
the dinosaurs turn up. The dinosaur effects were okay. They weren't brilliant, but they weren't bad.
the ones in the distance were fine.
Yeah, but
The very up close personal shots of, I think it was meant to be a Velociraptor. I don't know, just seemed a bit exaggerated to me, but it was good. It was good.
it was good. They were okay. You know, the music got me in the whole thing. It was a bit kind of, it was a bit like watching a 70s or 80s TV show. You know, it was that weird sort of like stuff. And this. Now, then the thing that got me was they climb all the way to the top of this cliff, and the guy who's in charge says, "We should go back down." Why bother doing all that? Why go back down? I don't get what that was
No,
all about. Um, and then the end of it, of course, is straight out of Planet of the Apes. Except, of course, instead of it being the Statue of Liberty,
it was
it's
the
the
Eiffel
Eiffel
Tower.
Tower. Um, the thing I didn't get was that everything else, all the other buildings and all that sort of thing, are completely gone. There's not
Oh,
a trace of them anywhere, but the Eiffel Tower's still standing there.
so-
Admittedly, fallen over at an angle, but it is still
and
there.
it rusted, but yeah,
Why is it
it's.
still there? How did that
Yeah.
work?
But then again, you could say the same for obviously the film of the Planet of the Apes. Everything else had changed, but it was still half of the Statue of Liberty there. But
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know. It's yeah. I sort of I was not invested, but I was taking it seriously until that point where I was like, they were sitting on the beach and they all looked up, and I'm like, it was that voice in the back of my head just went, "It's going to be a Planet of the Apes moment."
yeah.
I could sort of tell. I was like having a sort of internal argument. Going, I
In Planet of the
surely
Apes,
not.
in Planet of the Apes, they go along this beach and then they come round the headland and
Yep.
they see the just the top of the Statue of Liberty poking out of the sand. In this one, they're walking along a pebble beach and they suddenly stop and the Eiffel Tower is sticking out at an angle out over the sea. Now they must have been able to see that from the moment they hit that beach.
Well, to be honest, from what I was seeing the height of it, they should have been able to see it from that cliff.
Yeah, well, that's why. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I mean, overall, I thought it was a pretty good film. There's some good ideas, but most of them were lifted from other films.
Yeah,
Um,
it's definitely a few films mashed into one, I think.
yeah, definitely. But it was good, I kind of liked it. It was all right. It wasn't a bad film to watch.
No,
I think it didn't need to be 19 minutes long necessarily,
no.
but it was okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it definitely had some moments in it, and so I agree with you. It didn't have to be as long as it was, but yeah, it's a few films mashed together, and
Yes.
it's almost like it was the shock moment from them films, from
Yeah,
certain
but
films that they throw together and try making a film.
yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's
it was okay. It was all right.
yeah,
Okay. The second short film is from 2023, and this is called Searching Oblivion. This is Tape Slate Productions. Um, the directors Porter Edwards and Bryson Sams. This was actually done as part of the 48-hour film project award for 2023, in which they are given 48 hours basically to go from nothing
yeah,
to having a finished film.
yeah,
So it's quite an intense sort of like 48 hours, and considering that, you have to take that into consideration. The synopsis for this says an alien stumbles across something unexpected while observing humanity.
yeah.
So, what do you think?
Yeah, no, I was just going to add to your bit. It's the fact that we've spoken to people that have that have been making films and that have had months to do them, or even in some cases even years, and they've said about how intense it is to do it, and how time consuming it is as well.
Mm,
And telling me to do this in 48 hours is go from basically getting to the start time, going from the idea to the writing to the to go through editing everything. It amazes me the fact that you can do it. I know there's people out there that obviously probably listening to this going, well, it's easy, but for me to sit there, I have enough trouble trying to think of an idea within 2 weeks, let alone 2 days,
yeah,
and putting it into action. But no, I like this, and it is a bit of a weird one. I think it's there's no real explanation to what it is that he finds and the sort of what made him, I don't know, sort of obsess over the human race. But I like this. I love the set design.
mm,
The set design, especially the ship and the makeup of his. But the cinematography I thought was really well done, and the effects and all that. But I really like this film, but I'm not 100% sure why.
yeah. I mean, yeah, the space effects again at the beginning were really good, and I agree with you. The set and the makeup were really good, and that sort of thing. It's an interesting idea. I think what it comes down to is, but from my take on it, is that what he discovers is just like his life is basically just traveling and gathering information and not doing anything or
Well,
reacting to anything or having any kind of emotional link to anything.
I
And
suppose yes.
what he sort of discovered was the kind of the intensity of emotion within the human
Well,
situation.
it's the line he says is that like it's the short thing, the short time, and they've got the weight of thousands
Yeah,
on them, and it's just like it is. It's the fact that like everyone's life, as much as it doesn't seem connected, that it does connect to each other. It might be like not just within family, but people you know in your community and people
yeah,
you know that like that you've grown up with or whatever. You're all connected, and the fact that one thing affects someone else and all that, and the fact that he's been told to go on this mission, and basically it's just him and this
Yeah.
robot to go and observe everything that he's not for the rest of the time.
Yeah.
And it's just sort of
And
I like the idea behind it.
so I think it is that whole kind of emotional um sort of element of humanity that he's missing from his
Yeah,
existence, which he kind of like,
well, it shows, doesn't it? The two extreme cases of a man that's pretty much lost everything and is on the verge of giving it all up to then finding his dog
yeah,
and sticking around because of the fact his dog was he needed someone, and then to the extreme of the loving couple that then start hating each other and start arguing and start fighting, and then the shock of what happens when they split, and then later
yeah.
on in life and all that. And I think it's just it's a good way of showing the fact that humanity, as much as we all feel like robots a lot of the time,
Mm,
are emotional, complex beings.
yeah, yeah. I think it worked really well. I think for a 48-hour film thing, it worked
Yes,
really, really well. Okay. So the feature film this week is another one that you suggested, and
yeah,
I'm quite surprised by. Again, this is on Netflix, but it's also on YouTube, and it's
yeah,
from 2017. It's called Time Trap.
yeah.
This is we've got Pad Thai Pictures, Paladin, Film Smith, and the directors are Mark Dennis and Ben Foster. And the two of the main characters in the cast are Riley McLennan and Cassidy Gifford. The synopsis for this film says a professor enters a cave and goes missing. Some of his students come looking for him and get trapped in the cave as well. Now, I'm interested to know why
Very
you
big
suggested
understatement.
this. Why you suggested this, given the fact that you spend all of your time telling me how much you hate things to do with time.
Well, I suppose the whole reason is the fact that as much as it's to do with time, it's not time travel.
No,
It's
true.
not.
That is true.
It's about sort of I don't know the time bubble effect, I suppose, which can be classed as the fact that depending on how close you are to a point of origin, the time can travel faster or slower in this case
Yeah.
than it does to things that are further away. And I get that, and I think it's really good. But I think it's more the fact that I first watched this like 2 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. It was one of the films that I was just got thought flicking through Netflix, and I was like, "Do you know what? Sorry, it might have made me fall asleep." And within about 10 minutes, I was hooked.
Yeah.
And then when they get into the cave, and you see the explanation of what's going on, and then the other things of the fact that it's not just them in there; it's Spanish conquistadors and cavemen, and this alien turns up, and
Yeah.
it's just like, okay, and I couldn't stop watching it, and it's just I think it was the whole. It was a enjoyable film to watch, even
Yeah.
if it
No,
didn't make a lot of sense.
I agree with you. I agree with you. I was interested because I think that the when they go into the cave looking for him, for the professor,
Yeah,
it kind of gives off vibes reminiscent of films like The Goonies. It's got that, definitely that kind of feel about it,
yeah,
for a while. Um, but it's an incredible idea, to be honest. The actual
yeah,
story and the idea behind it. I mean, as you say, this time bubble thing that's got layers, so that as you go through it, time for you stays the same, but outside of the bubble, it runs
They show it, don't
faster,
they? They show
and
it in the
then
fact there's actually 3 layers.
yeah, and
Oh,
then when
it's
you
a
go
minimum.
through it into the middle bit, it's kind of like, to you, it's almost stopped, and as you're looking at
Yeah,
it, inside there, it's probably moving at the normal pace.
yeah,
But
and that,
this is all to protect the fountain of youth,
yes,
which okay, it's fun. Now, I mean, and it's quite good. I mean, there were a couple of bits that I didn't quite get, like the professor.
Yeah.
insists that when they find him, he's injured, and he insists that they leave him. But instead of saying no, because we found a pool of water which will make you better, he just the student goes, okay then, and walks off, which is a bit kind of bizarre.
Yeah, for
Um,
anyone they've risked their lives to go and find
yeah.
him. Risk their lives
Um,
to go and find him, find out all this stuff's going on. They find him, like, we're gonna leave you
yeah. But I did like it was the fact that the what you think of as an alien, first of all, turns out to be humans that have gone off to another planet and have stopped being able to speak
English.
English or whatever. They don't talk
Oh, is that, and the
the
fact that he sort
the
of whole
human
fact
language
that they were
anymore.
because they were the size different to them, because obviously gravity might be different where
Yeah, yeah,
on these planets. The fact that there was a different form of it, and I just thought, but again, it's just what was quite funny is the fact that this alien dies.
yeah,
No one wants to suggest maybe we should give him some of the water.
yeah. Well, I did think that put him in the water, but no, they don't. Um, but the thing that got me was like at the end of it, they kind of okay. They all get saved. They save the professor and the young kid who gets killed. So they save them too. Then they save the professor's parents and her and his sister from who disappeared when he was a kid, and they're the same age as they were before or something. And then that's it. Nobody explains why, what's going on, or how, or who, or what, and anything.
No,
And it's just a bit kind of like, well, um. So I mean, I want to know more. And the thing is that
yeah,
that's all I can work out. They never made a sequel.
no. It's just the thing.
Oh,
It's the thing that really annoyed me is the fact that they. I sat there for, oh sweet, and I get searched for ages. Like there's got to be something more. There's got to be something more, and it's just never had nothing come about it. And I'm like, why?
it's just kind of like it's kind of left me with this kind of it's like half a story, and it's kind of like,
Yeah.
but there's so much unanswered about the whole thing.
Well, is that what it even say? It's half a story. It's the beginning, and that's it.
Yeah,
It's just there's so much more that they can add to it, and it's just like what on earth? But it's the fact is what made me laugh. What I found funny is the fact that of all of human history, of all of human broadcasting, and all that, that alien managed to find the one bit that referenced the kids.
yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. Weird, but it is. Yeah, the whole thing is a bit odd in places. There are some fantastic effects in it. There really are, and to be honest, I mean the whole bit with the sort of fight scene frozen in time is brilliant. It's
That
so
I
well
thought that
done.
was that, and the effects of the I don't know robot tentacle things.
Yeah.
I thought was very well done, and
Yeah.
the camera shots of it following through the gate.
What I want to say is this, right? I've got to say this now because it's sort of like something that I've discussed with somebody recently. Okay, this is 2017, right? You watch this and look at the CGI used in this, okay,
Yep,
and then watch the Flash.
yep.
That the CGI used in the Flash is absolutely awful compared
It,
to this stuff, and the Flash is like
well, this is
modern. It would be better.
yeah. Well, this is the thing that so many people have argued about CGI is the fact that it's like you look at from I'd say 2010 to about 2019, it was amazing. You look at some of the stuff like they did for the Matrix films, they did for
Yeah.
X-Men films, they've done and then you look at some of the recent stuff, and I'm like, it looks like it's gone back a generation, not gone forward.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, as I say, the Flash for me is the worst one I've seen, and the stuff
Oh
in there, the CGI in there that looks like it's cut scenes from a 1990s video game.
yeah, it's
Awful. Uh,
ridiculous.
but the effects in this are really good. The CGI
Mm.
stuff, that the and even sort of like the makeup effects and that sort of thing, and the acting's really good as well. It's
Yeah, the acting for the cavemen, I
yeah,
suppose, because that's not an easy, I suppose, easy angle to stand at either for a lot of it, and to do that
no,
and to do what they were doing, I think was amazing. And then the costume design for like the people in the inside and like and the also the cavemen and all that, I thought was amazingly done. And just
I really liked this film, and I wasn't sure I would, the problem with it was the fact that I kind of got to the end and thought, is that it? You
yeah,
know,
I did the same thing. I sat there like, come on, there's got to be a part two, or there's got to be as it might even if it was just under a different name.
yeah,
Say this is like this is the sequel to it or whatever.
yeah. It's a pity because I mean I'd love to see somebody make a sequel to it because I think it's
Yeah,
crying out for one. And
yeah,
the thing that really annoys me is the fact that you get films like this, which have got great ideas and some great effects and great things going for it, and they don't make a sequel to it. And then you get really kind of like average films that they make about 5 sequels to. And
yeah.
it's like, so what are you doing?
That's the thing is I was saying to Amy about it is the fact that a lot of films now, a lot of people now, a lot of people that make films get stuck in the whole we need to make a franchise,
Yeah, no, absolutely.
and
I
it's
mean, I think that's especially true of the horror stuff. I'm not so much with science fiction, but even then, they still do that with
yeah,
some
I think
things.
it's more. Oh, sorry, it's less than science fiction. It's because of the fact that. Oh, sorry, it's less with science fiction because of the fact that you can make, say, have one idea and make 12 films about it
Yeah,
because you can do it in different ways. With horror, I suppose you could. It's easier to make a franchise because of the fact that you can do like they do with Halloween, like they do with Nightmare on Elm Street. Is it's the same story, but you can retell it and retwist it, twist it,
yeah.
twist and turns.
I
With
think
sci-fi, it's a bit harder.
the problem nowadays, though, is the fact that people quite often go into making one film with the idea that they want to make five,
Yeah,
and when that one film doesn't make it, then everything just
yeah.
falls apart.
It's instead of making a film where it ends with the possibility that yes, it's left in a way that you could carry it on, but it's all tied up nicely in a little
Yeah,
way. And then if you get the opportunity to take it further. But don't make a film and then leave it open at the end for some, hoping that someone's going to go, so what happens?
well, yeah,
Because it
yeah,
might not happen. And I think that's the problem with a lot of films, not just horror and sci-fi, but a lot of films now
yeah,
are trying too hard to be the next big franchise instead of just being an amazing film.
yeah. No, I agree. I agree. Okay, so there are 3 films. The first one, Regnum, which we liked, but was a bit kind of like a mashup of other sci-fi films.
Yeah,
Searching Oblivion, which we really liked, and Time Trap, which we again really liked. But the people out there that made it, we want you to make another one.
yeah.
Tell us
Or
more.
even just tell us what was going to happen.
Yeah, make a sequels. Let us know what it was all about.
Yeah,
Okay, that's it. Thank you very much, Scott,
so I'm glad I could do it.
for your
I promise.
suggestion.
I'm trying to find very odd. I'm not odd films, but films that I think that are a little bit obscure. But the problem is that I keep doing that, and then I go to myself to make a search for another one. And I'm like, I've got
That's
to
all
make
right.
it a bit more obscure than the last. And I'm running out of film.
Well, I'm sure we'll find somewhere. Next week, I think we'll go back to doing some horror stuff. Maybe something different though. Again, we'll be doing 2 short films and a longer run and things
Yes,
and stuff like that. So thank you for your input.
that's okay.
Thank you to everybody out there for watching and being part of what we do. Um, the guys at Rilla Thriller are now doing a podcasty thing of their own, which is available on Spotify. So have a look for that and have a listen to it and see what you think.
Yes.
And contact them and let them know. Contact us and let us know what you think of ours. If
If you
you've got,
contact them and let them know that we sent you.
yeah. And if you've got any ideas about films you'd like us to review, short films or feature films, then contact us and let us know. You can leave something in the comments here or on Facebook, either of our own individual ones or the Sci-Fi Film Network page on Facebook. And yeah, so there you go. Right. Until next time. Thank you for bod and bibby bang and boo 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 and stuff.
Sorry, I was just thinking about what you said to me the other day. Is the fact that the one we did a few weeks ago, we managed to harmonise.
Yeah, managed to harmonise when we said goodbye. I don't know if we could ever get that again. Anyway. Right. So thank you very much, and we will see you again next week. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. The Sci-Horror Film Podcast.